Hello everybody, welcome back to our series of short video lectures in AOOAD on the topic of design at the detailed system level, where you can find out that the sixth letter of the password is the letter M. M for Monday. Today, we'll be talking about how you design associations. The first new concept we want to introduce in today's lesson is association directions. Take a look at this class diagram. We see that there's an owner class and a car class. An owner owns exactly one car, and a car is owned by exactly one owner. But take note that an association can actually be either one-way or two-way. We know this because there's an arrowhead at the end of this association that indicates the direction of the messages being passed between the two classes. An arrowhead basically says that in this case, an owner knows what car he owns, but a car has no direct reference to the owner of it. A two-way association is denoted by either arrowheads on both ends or no arrowheads at all. And since all the associations taught in OOAD have no arrowheads, they are in fact two-way associations. However, we actually want to minimize two-way associations in order to minimize coupling, because two classes that are connected by a two-way association are more tightly coupled than one where the association is merely one way. Let's talk about association roles. An association role basically just shows the attribute that corresponds to this association. In this case, the name of the attribute that corresponds to this association is called owned car. An attribute that represents an association is called a reference attribute. Now, both association roles and reference attributes are optional. In AOOAD assessments, do not include them unless the question explicitly states that you have to. Let's take a look at an example from the AOOAD case study from a textbook. Consider the work on campaign two-way association. We see that a creative staff works on multiple campaigns, and a campaign is worked on by one or more creative staff. Now, if we want to reflect the reference attributes that represent this association, then in creative staff, we would have a list of campaigns. This might be a private list called CList, which is a list of campaigns, like so. Similarly, in the campaign class, there might be a list of creative staff called CSList, say it's private, which is of type creative staff, but it's a list of at least one element. However, take a look at the owns one-way association. We see that a campaign owns multiple adverts, and adverts belongs to exactly one campaign. However, since it is a one-way association and is pointing towards adverts, this means that campaign might have an advert list called AdList, which is a list of adverts. However, the advert class would not have a reference to the campaign that owns it. This is what it means to have a one-way association. The next concept that I want to introduce is called collection classes. In one-to-many associations, the one has references to several objects of the many, and these references are typically stored using data structures such as arrays, vectors, or linked lists. Such data structures are known as collection classes or container classes, and most programming languages provide these data structures for you. For example, there is the java.util.vector or ArrayList. However, sometimes it is better to create your own collection class for reasons of customizability as well as for reuse. Let me show you. Here we have a campaign class, and the campaign contains multiple adverts. In this example, we make use of an advert collection class. We see that a campaign has an attribute called ownedAdvertCollection of type advert collection. A campaign has exactly one advert collection, and an advert collection belongs to exactly one campaign. Also notice that an advert collection contains multiple adverts, and each advert is in exactly one advert collection. All collection classes will have a number of operations that are meant to manage this collection. In this case, the advert collection supports finding the first advert, getting the next advert, adding an advert to the collection, as well as removing an advert. So why do we bother? What's the advantage of creating our own collection class instead of using something standard that's provided by Java, such as an array list? Well, there are a couple of advantages. The first is customizability. Suppose in our system, we often want to retrieve the set of overdue adverts. In our collection class, we could create an operation called getOverdueAdverts that returns a list of adverts that are overdue. Therefore, we can customize our advert collection for the specific needs of the system. Another benefit is reuse. Having created our advert collection class that's customized, we can now use it for other classes. For example, if we have a client class and all clients also have a list of adverts, then we can reuse our advert collection class. That's pretty neat, isn't it? In case you were wondering how to make use of collection classes to model two-way many-to-many associations, here's an example. Go ahead and pause the video, take a look at this. It's actually pretty simple. It's essentially two one-to-many associations combined together. That's all I have to say about designing associations. Thank you all for watching. Our next video in this series on integrity constraints will be the last video. Hooray! Tomato!